Hi everyone, my name is Lori Voss Furukawa, founder of Create, Play, Grow Out of the Box Living, and I'm coming to you here from the Creative Kitchen in the Philippines. So today we're going to make some nut milk. It's very easy actually, and it's very healthy. Nut milk is something that we should consider consuming earlier on throughout the day. You can have it with your cereal, you can have it with your coffee or your tea, or as a substitute for a fruit smoothie in the morning. Actually, nut milk is a yang property in terms of traditional Chinese medicine, and in accordance with the yin and yang, it's a yang energy which helps us in the morning to get that digestive fire started. So today, I think it's a good idea if you get a pen and paper for yourself so you can write down a couple notes. It's easy, but it's always good to write it down, so you can put this on pause for a moment and get that for yourself. Okay, so a couple things that you're going to need to get things going for nut milk. First and foremost, nuts. The nuts that you can use, pretty much anything. You could even use rice if you wanted to experiment a little bit more as well. Sesame seeds work, almonds, cashew, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. They all obviously yield a little bit of a different flavor, but it's all possible depending on what you want to use it for. And just to try something different. They're all really delicious. In order to have your nuts ready for nut milk, firstly, you need to soak those nuts overnight. It's important, or within 8 to 12 hours. It's important to soak and rinse them so our body can easily absorb and digest the nutrients that are readily available for us through the nuts. I suggest, like I said, doing it overnight. It's easy. Rinse, give your nuts a quick rinse in the water. In the morning, then soak it into a dish, soak it overnight. In the morning, rinse everything off really thoroughly. You can use it directly then if you want to make the nut milk, or if you're not quite ready to use it, I would suggest either putting it in a dehydrator. If you don't have that, which probably most of us don't have in our kitchen, you can put it in your oven on low heat, lowest heat as possible, and put it in there for about probably 1 to 2 hours, maybe even 3 hours. You want to get all the moisture out of the nut. Now you've made the nuts edible. So that's what I've done here. This was done last night. I soaked it, this morning rinsed, and now we've put it in the oven and dried everything out so it's ready for use. I have almond nuts here. So now that your nuts are prepared, we're going to also need a nut milk bag, something that is of a mesh type cloth. You could also use the cheesecloth that's used for baking, something that ideally, if it has a pouch and you can hold on to get everything out. You're going to need a small bowl as well to put your milk in, so you have access to pour that in once you've blended it up. Yes, that's correct. Blended it up. So we're going to need a blender. I have my blender here. I'm sorry for the lighting. It's a little bit dark, shifting. I also recommend using water with your nut milk. I have already measured out. I'm going to make 4 cups of nut milk. So I have 4 cups of fresh water here for us. And it's up to you, but you can add a little bit of a natural sweetener if you want and a little bit of salt. I have measured out 1 tablespoon of, I have coconut sugar here, but you can use brown sugar. You could also use date paste or honey. You can use any real agave maple syrup as well. You'll get a different taste from all of them, but it's all possible. Again, according to your taste preference, have fun and play around with it a little bit. Enjoy that space. And also a little bit of salt. I have a 1/8 of a teaspoon, pardon me, measured out with, I use pink Himalayan sea salt, but it's up to you what kind of salt you want to use as well. So on that note, we're going to measure out our nuts. I will use today 1 cup of almonds. Again, make sure your almonds have been soaked and rinsed. This is really critical point and step in order to help these be digestible for our bodies and absorb the nutrients. When we don't do that, it really upsets the digestive tract, and we want to try to have food in our lives that helps us. So I have 1 cup of almond nuts. I'm going to put that in my blender. And I have already measured out, I have 4 cups of water. 4 cups is also equivalent to 1 liter. Add that in my blender as well. I have 1 tablespoon of coconut sugar. Again, any kind of sugar will do, or even none at all. It's up to your taste preference. And I have 1/8 teaspoon Himalayan sea salt goes in as well. Everything goes in the blender. Now we're just going to pivot around this corner a bit here for you to see. Putting that in its space. Sorry for the noise. We just got to run this for a few minutes. Sometimes turning it down to a lower setting for a moment can help to settle the ingredients again, and then turning it back up just to make sure everything gets a good grind in there. Okay, that should be good. I have a Vitamix blender, which I absolutely swear by and highly recommend for anybody who wants to do amazing things in their kitchen. It's not necessary, but it's an amazing piece to have in your kitchen. Now comes the space where I have my nut milk bag and the bowl. I like to put this so it is resting on the bowl like this, and I'm going to pour everything inside there. You might make a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. We can always clean that up later. I just pour it directly into the bag. I know already that everything's going to fit in my bowl. Pouring that in there. Now comes the fun part, as if you're going to milk a cow. As if you've done before, perhaps yes, maybe not. Either way, just be careful a little bit with it. Take it easy. You don't want to break your bag or the cheesecloth if you're using that. And also you don't want it to be splashing out and running away on you, because this is key ingredients that we want to keep in our bowl. It shouldn't be too difficult to squeeze it out. Squeezing out all the liquid comes out pretty good, depending on the mesh bag that you have and how good it is. But everything basically should come out with relative ease. This now this leftover nut milk pulp can also be used. I save mine in my freezer and I put it in cookies. Sometimes I have a special recipe that specifically calls for leftover nut milk. It's very good. But yes, you can add it also to different smoothies later on. So just put that to the side for yourself. And again, it's really still beneficial. You don't need to throw that away. We can use everything. So what I like to do, because now coming from this bowl, it can be a little bit difficult where I'm going to put this, right? So I pour it back into my blender. Whoops, spilled a little bit there. That's all right. Happens in my creative kitchen quite often. So now it's back in the blender, easy to pour out. Now it's essentially ready to drink. I'm just going to pour it back in this container we started with. Dun, 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 dun. And we have beautiful, fresh almond nut milk. It is super healthy for you. It also, like I said, has a yang property to it. So it increases the heat in our body and increases the digestive fires as well. I recommend, once more, drinking it closer in the morning. You can have it with your cereal, your coffee, your tea, or just for a glass. Mix it with protein shake if you want to make it into a smoothie. It's delicious, healthy. I hope you find this video. Hope it comes well to you.